Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Space Engineers. My name is Aether, and today we're going to be looking at some automated weapon platforms I designed for one of the factions in my little verse. This started off as a small grid project, and then I just embiggened it into a large grid version. But looking at the small grid first, it started off as a upright facing design. I was kind of going with the Slave One from Star Wars Boba Fett's ship. Sort of a look to that. It's got 3 autocannon turrets, it's got 2 hidden railgun turrets, and then just a decorative non-functional antenna, and the real antenna is inside. Solar panels for passive power collecting when it's just sitting around waiting for an enemy to show up, and then a connector for resupply or other reasons. The second iteration of that was just custom assault cannon turrets, so 6 assault cannon turrets versus a 3 autocannon version. Again, same recessed railguns, same everything else essentially. And then the newest iteration, which is a non-vertical, I suppose, more traditional pointy end goes towards the enemy, which has 4 railguns, 4 autocannon turrets, and otherwise is fairly similar to the original version. And the old version is just called the Duplex for a duplex railgun, and the new version are Quadplex for the Quadplex railgun. The large version is fairly the same, exchanging autocannons for artillery turrets, having some point defense in the form of the interior turrets, and otherwise remaining fairly similar to the small version with the duplex railguns, the large antenna, which is functional on the large version, solar panels, connectors. The next iteration is the Quadplex large grid, and this one features outward oriented railguns instead of the angled portion being over here. I don't know why I did this. It was probably easier for the conveyor routing, but I fixed that with the next version. So this is the version 2, or Mark II, which is otherwise identical, and then the Mark III, which has subgridded small grid railguns, 32 of them, in 2 groups, or in pairs of 8, and 4 groups of those. Interior. The original interior over here was fairly inefficient, but it worked. It's specifically for just having a maintenance crew on board. You would have 1 or more large grid versions centering a group of smaller AWPs, or deployed however you wanted. And these are a static defensive system. You could fit them with a jump drive, you could fit them with faster engines, or however you want to do it, but they were specifically designed to defend a static installation. They would move to intercept a threat, and then they would engage the threat as a group. So the interior of this is accessed through the primary entrance, which is not an airlock, and it just comes into here where most of the platform is accessible. Then you come up into this airlock here and into the crew area. So there's a galley, a bunk area with a head, and then a little sitting area over here with a programming block for Greeble. The next version of this significantly alters the interior, and I'm much happier with that interior than this one. So this one is slightly out of date, so we'll just go into here. So coming in, there is a proper airlock for this portion. So there's 1 door here, 2 doors here, and then there's another annex area here with a door to either side. If this goes and accesses the internals to the bottom portion, well, that would be the front portion now. And then another door up here accesses the top portion, and that would be the aft portion, to be specific. There is still 3 bunk setup, but it's just greatly expanded with better lockers, better head system, shower, and then 2 cryopods. And then on this side is the galley area, another bench, and then some greebling, as well as a display showing current power usage. So In combat, for my own testing and purely based off testing against my other designs, these tend to be fairly effective simply due to not having explosive hydrogen in them, whereas most of my other combat designs do have hydrogen and tend to explode. And definitely having four railguns hitting one point is fairly effective, if not 32 of them hitting one point is also very effective. So again, this is the Duplex and Quadplex AWPs, and I've nicknamed them the Sand Spurs. And if you're familiar with the Sand Spur, if you've ever gone to a beach, you will be quite understanding in the name. Originally, when I did design these they were kamikaze. They would fire at the target, rush it, attempt to intersect and hit the target with their own mass to cause significant damage, and then latch on with just their wreckage and then keep firing until they were destroyed or ran out of ammo or something else happened. As for the crew aboard the large grid version, in combat, once combat would start, they would flee the platforms, probably on board some sort of service tug like this, towards a nearby designated location where they would meet up with the rest of the forces defending that position. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If not, oh well, and I will see you again next time.